And a very good evening to everybody. Welcome to the TonicMan podcast. Yes, indeedy. Another great call lined up for tonight. You know, about a month ago, we did a call on my dad's birthday, March 15th, and that was a bit of a celebration because, well, it was his birthday, the 15th of March, and also in 2022, it's about 100 years from the time he first started thinking about what we are now drinking today, this marvelous, miraculous, wonderful herbal elixir that we call JC Tonic today. It's had several names over the past. My dad started commercializing it in 1943. Well, you know, he was giving it away for many years and he could not afford it any longer, so he started having to charge a bit in 1943, but the word got out because now it was not this oxygenator that he was searching for when he first started working on it in 1922. And he was doing that because he was not a professional alpine climber, but he did it quite a lot and was pretty good at it and had a group that he used to do it with. And he had this tremendous shortage of breath and he was really taken aback. He thought if he fell, he'd pull everybody down with him. So that's what prompted him to look in the plant kingdom to see if he could find something for oxygenation. Well, over the years, as he worked with the formula, he had more reports from people about more things, and he really discovered that it was something to do with the blood, not only oxygenation. And he worked to that end, and by probably, I'm not sure, but probably 1940, he sort of had his final eureka moment, and it became the preparation, but he was giving it away as best he could. People were coming back with their reporting. And so he just decided, well, I'll have to charge a bit in 1943. Well, it became such a demand that in 1945, he actually formed a company, and he called it Mattol Research Limited. And he started marketing it, commercializing it through what we do today, network marketing. He was doing that because that's the way you could speak to a person like we're doing today on this call. With all the new people that are on the call, we have new people joining us every single day, and they don't know that story. So it's in there. It's in our history. We're going to keep repeating it from time to time. But one good way of just covering it quickly for the new folks is what I'm doing actually today. And so he had distributors and he had meetings, and we've got pictures in the 1940s of him sitting with distributors, and they had the bottles of, he called it Matonol, Matonol, and they were sitting on the bottle, and his distributors were Mattol distributors. And so that went on for quite a number of years, and so thousands of people got to learn about it. And we were in a little town in Canada, Quebec City. Well, it wasn't so little, but I mean, it was little compared to some of the big cities in the U.S. and even in Canada today, but it was like nowhere, and people were driving all the way from all the parts of the U.S. because they heard about it, and they would load up the trunk of their car and drive back. I don't think there was a big problem with any customs in those days. They'd wave you through, hey, how you doing? And off you go. So the word got out in the U.S. as well. And then in 1984, a fellow I knew and I decided to try it big time with the MLM that we were learning about. And the trouble with that was that formula had been modified quite a bit since the time my dad was making it. That's a whole nother story. But we put it out anyway, and it still worked very well. And we had tons of people, I mean, tens of thousands of people who joined. And we have those folks with us today still. They're drinking the JC Tonic. So they were joining in the 80s and just continued drinking as long as that product was available. Then when the JC Tonic was made available, which is really the duplicate of my dad's original formula from the 40s, they just continued drinking it. And guess what? That's right. Everybody is younger. Everybody stays younger. People don't go to the doctors as often. They don't have as many health issues, or none. we've got people, and of course we've got all these wonderful success story testimonials, people who say they no longer have to take their medication. Doctors took them off it because their blood pressure came down, their sugar balanced out, everything in the body is balancing, and that is the key, folks. Balance. It's the key. Everything is to do with balance. Now, as you can see, I am really ready to tell you the whole story. So if you're ready, you better sit down, because this will be a call that's going to last about 24 days if I want to get to the end of the story. No, just kidding. I'm not going to do that. But there is a lot to it and a lot of good stuff to it. However, we have a couple of great guests tonight, and I want to invite them on the call. And both of them happen to be people who joined and started drinking many, many years ago. And in both cases, they're getting on in age, as I am. And I'll let them tell you about their age and so on. But they are going to share with you what they've experienced over 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, it's just remarkable how people who stay on this preparation rebalance their body. It just gets better and better and better, and they have less and less problems, and they grow old more slowly. That's right. So in some cases, people are getting younger when they're already starting to feel their age and have health issues and tired and no energy and so on. The reverse is happening. They're getting energy, they're feeling better, they're doing things again that they couldn't do before they started drinking the JC Tonic. So it has a regenerative effect, a reversal, if you will, and that's simply because if anybody wants to study the human body, it's an incredible machine that when it's in balance, it hums along. When it's not in balance, it has all kinds of problems. And so that's what happens as we get older. It goes more and more out of balance. In some cases, because of the way we eat, it goes out of balance even quicker. But it is a human body that has resources that if you give them a little TLC, they can reverse themselves and start doing the job they used to do when you were much younger. Maybe not as well, but what if they only improve it 50%, 40%? Well, that is a big change in the quality of life. The good news is that most people have the change that's much greater than that. It's 60, 70, 80, 100%, maybe not 100. So my first guest is a guest that we've had on many times over many years. Ruthie is a long-time user of this wonderful tonic. And she has a friend, her sister-in-law, who is with her on the call tonight. So, ladies, if you would *6, you can get on the call. And Ruthie, just want to welcome you. Say a few words to the folks. You've got always plenty to say. And bring your sister-in-law, Jerrie, on. And let's tell the folks what's going on in your lives.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Ruthie Mill. I, too, been taking the product since the 80s, and I have been on the tonic for 21 years. After the first year, I have been pain-free for 20 years. 20 years, you hear me? Anthony, can you hear me?
20 years. Yeah, everybody fell off their chair. They're all on the floor. 20 years, pain-free.
20 years, pain-free.
You know, everybody, I remember Ruthie when she started this. We have a picture of her. I kid you not. If you could see her now, she looks 20 years younger now than she did then. I kid you not.
And then another thing, I just got another clean, clear bill of health from my doctor. My body is balanced. I'm 115 pounds, no medication, and I trust you, I can't tell the age, like to be getting old. I don't feel it.
How old are you?
I will be 83 in June.
That's fantastic, 83. Ruthie. Whoa!
I am 83, wrinkle-free, drink my tonic every day, and my doctor, I'm about to just kill her. she gives me a written note that, okay, you healthy, mentally stable. My God, I said, I'm taking this tonic. I showed you. She said, keep taking it. You don't need any medication.
That's a nice thing to hear from a doctor who recognizes they may not know too much about this kind of stuff, but at least they recognize the much better health that Ruthie's in. So look, stick with what's working. And isn't that the way? My dad used to say the empirical way. If it works, it's good. If it doesn't work, it's no good. It's pretty simple.
Yes. And she also gave me a written statement that I can still work. I am still helping senior citizens, young people, babies, and I'm a certified nurse assistant. And she's still giving me that clear bit of health that I can do it. That
is so great. What a great story, Ruthie.
Thank you.
So you have sister-in-law Jerrie with you?
Yes. Now that I have Jerrie Edwards from Mississippi. Are you there, Jerrie?
Oh, wow. Thank you. Hello,
Jerrie,
everyone.
Welcome to the podcast, the TonicMan Show. Great to have you. Ruthie, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'm going to let Jerrie go ahead and explain to the people what the JC Tonic has done for her.
Okay, hello, everyone. My name is Jerrie Edwards. I'm from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Before I was introduced to the JC Tonic product, I had a bad cough congestion in my chest that I could not get rid of. It started in the month of October of 2020. My sister-in-law, Ruthie, introduced my husband and I to the product. We started taking the product March 1st of 2021. We was very consistent in taking it. I noticed at the last of June of 2021 that bad cough congestion was gone. I was very happy and relieved. So I want to thank my almighty God for that, and JC Tonic product, and my sweet sister-in-law, Ruthie, for sharing that with us. Thank you.
Hey, Jerrie, that is great, and I'm glad to hear that. So that cough, how old are you, by the way?
Oh, I am 64 and almost 65.
So that cough was going to stay with you for a long time and ruin your life, probably. And why it disappeared, who will know? But God knows, that's for sure. And it's just got to do with rebalancing your body. And I think that's what the tonic was able to do for you.
Yes, it was.
As you grow older, you would be a wise lady to stay on it because it's a great protector. It'll continue to rebalance the system as the forces of life continue to try and unbalance us. So stick with it.
Yes, sir, I will. Thank you.
All righty. Thanks a lot for coming on. Ruthie, I thank you so much for your story and, of course, for bringing Jerrie on. Folks, what Ruthie did is what I would ask all of you to do. You know, you have your story, but get a new person on it and save their life or make their life more comfortable, because that's what it all is. It ends up to be a much better quality of life. And just look around you, your family, your friends, anybody in the association you belong to, in the sports you play, bingo, it doesn't matter, at church, wherever you are with your friends, and you'll see everybody's in bad shape and they need some help. So don't be shy. All they can do is say no. They can tell you you're a nut. I mean, they tell me I'm a nut still today, after doing this for 70 years or something. But look, if I have 2 people who tell me out of every 10 that I try and help that they'd like to get some help, that's all we can do. You know, you put one step in front of you and do it again. So all those folks who are suffering, I have to tell you, I have a family member who I have been trying, now don't fall on the floor, for 30 years to drink this. 30 years. And she said, "You're a nut. You're crazy. What are you talking about?" She was a top registered nurse for years and years and years, did it all, the surgery, the whole thing, the operating theater, was trained in all of that, and so told me I was out of my mind. Well, fortunately, her health managed to keep her in pretty good shape, but I saw her this summer after I hadn't seen her for a long, long time. And she looked at me like she didn't recognize me. She's Anthony. I can't believe it. Are you still drinking that stuff? I said, well, of course. She said, is that why you look like you look like? I said, I don't know what else it could be. She says, I want some. Now, she was just, I think, 69 years old, and she decided to start drinking it. So you see, don't give up, particularly with your loved ones, because one day they'll thank you. Okay? So, Ruthie, thank you so very much for being on the call, and thank you, Jerry. And folks, we have a caller who is a longtime user and remembers my dad back in the 1980s when my dad was out there doing presentations. And so I think we're going to ask her to come on and say a word and see what happens. She has a story to tell that is as a longtime user, and this is the main point I was trying to make tonight and we made last week, is that if you can get started on the tonic, the road ahead just gets brighter and brighter. And it doesn't matter what your condition is, because this is no cure for anything. This is not a cure for Jerry's whatever she had, throat, who knows what it's called. What this does is it rebalances your systems, your body in general, through the cleaning up of the blood and the oxygenation and all the good stuff. But once your systems start to get back into balance, then you will have much better health. And we have a great, great call that was done for us a number of years ago by Dr. Dan Mowry. He writes on our website. Go and check it out. And he wrote a great book called Herbal Tonic Therapies, and he talks about these tonic herbs that we use in the JC Tonic. And this presentation is on our system. Go to our emails and look back. You'll find it's presentation he made one evening, and he tells everybody why JC Tonic works. And it's all about balance. So, folks, get on this tonic. Start it, watch and see what happens. You won't have to wait long. Some people talk that it worked the first day. We had a gal in the United Kingdom who called the other day saying just got her order. She hadn't been sleeping properly. She took half an ounce in a half a glass of water, lay her head on the pillow. She called us the next day. She said, I can't believe it. This is the best sleep I've had in years. So it'll work quickly for some people. Some people it'll take the whole bottle. But somewhere between the first ounce and the last ounce, you're going to feel some kind of positive changes. They may not be remarkable, but they will be positive, and you will feel something good is happening. And that means that your body is starting to react in a great way. So just keep on and watch and see what happens. Okay? So our next guest is a gal by the name of Bernadette. Ladies and gentlemen, I have on the line tonight for really getting to know how the JC Tonic got its origins and how long it really has been used. Well, I'm not going to tell the whole story. I'm going to introduce Bernadette. She's going to talk to you and tell you what's up. Bernadette, it's all yours.
Well, good evening, everybody. You know, this started with me over 30 years ago when I was introduced to Matol. Now, it was Anthony's father, and the reason I got into it, he said that he was told by God to make this formula. Well, I liked it at the time, but I didn't like the taste. But today, it's really good. And I found out in September from Deb, it was back on the market with the name JC. I said, fantastic, and I can get some. And prior to this, I had 2 strokes, a double bypass, 5 diseases all at once, and shingles included, and I got a broken hip about a year ago.
What were the 5 illnesses you had?
Oh, they were shingles, tuberculosis, pancreatitis, kidney infection, and just pain.
And you had diverticulosis?
Yes.
And that's gone?
Yes.
Did the doctor say it's gone?
Yeah, he said I'm fine.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I feel wonderful. In fact, you know, I'm 75, and I live with pain for many, many years. I don't have any. It's gone.
So you were drinking the Matol for quite a few years, and then you stopped, I guess, so you didn't have any at all?
Yes, I didn't have any. I couldn't afford it. But then Deb told me in last September in 2021, JC, your product was back on the market. Now, that's when I heard about it. I got it immediately, and to live with chronic pain every day, every night, is very debilitating, and it's hard on your psyche. But I don't have that problem.
How long did it take before that disappeared?
Well, you know, Anthony, my body, it's like a sponge. It grabs on right away. And so when I started taking the tonic, I noticed the pain became less and less until it's not there.
And what did that take, a bottle or two or three? Or
I would say about 3 months, yeah.
Well, that's pretty
about
good.
3 months.
That's pretty darn good after living like that for all those years.
Yes. And you know what? The thing is, I know my body, and I thought, no, I'm not taking a full ounce because my body it couldn't take it. So I started out at an eighth, then I worked up.
An eighth of an ounce?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've had some people who started like on 10 drops. They couldn't take more, so I understand that. And that's good for people to know, because depending on how many problems you have and how unbalanced your system is, easy does it is the best way to go at it, you know?
Yes, I agree. And you know what? My walking is better and gets better. My balance is getting better and better. I don't use my cane. I do the walker when I'm outside because the ground's uneven. But other than that, no. I don't use my walker. I don't have it in the house. I only use it when I'm gardening, because I'm going to garden this summer.
Good for you.
Jim, I've got all my flowers ready.
So you're saying that prior to the tonic, you had to use a walker and a cane and you couldn't get around?
Well, yes, you're right. And I'm the kind of lady, you tell me black and I'll say, oh yeah, watch out, it's going to be white. That's the kind of lady I am. I'm very persistent, and I trust, and I know that God brought this into my life again.
You're going to have one heck of a flower garden this summer.
Oh, I'm excited. I just planted a new bed, so I'm really excited.
You know, you're talking about God, and you knew right away when you saw the JC on the label, and it's really difficult to talk to a lot of people about that there must be something more to this than just my father and me and you know, people. You're right. How is it possible that he came up with a formula that works like you just explained, and so long ago? And he did say, I remember him telling that story. I mean, the last bit of the information that he needed came to him in a dream. So where did dreams come from? Maybe it is a God thing, you know?
Well, yes, it is. It is, because when a baby is born, it's got all its faculty, heart, mind, and soul, fingers, feet. Isn't that a God thing? It's not a monkey thing. It's a God thing.
Well, it has to be something pretty outrageous, because, boy, oh boy, what a work of art, a human body.
Absolutely. You know, I'll tell you, Anthony, not having God in my life, I would have never made it. I hitchhiked all over Europe by myself. I've traveled all around the world. I'm going back to Israel as soon as they get rid of all this nonsense. And I have a good life. My life is a miracle. And God brought me back to this stuff. And I tell you also, the cream. I wake up every morning and I put it on my hips, my broken hip. Well, I've got it replaced. My hands and arms, they're back to normal. Before, it was hard. I mean, hard.
You mean the skin was really rough?
No, my skin was pretty good. But just having that herbs on my arms and legs and body, and along with the JC, man, it all works together. And even with my voice, I couldn't talk after my second stroke, and I had to learn how to talk. It's still not as good as I'd like it, but it is better. What I do is I take some of the cream and I squirt it in my mouth. I said, if it's not going to hurt my outside skin, I can swallow it. So I do.
Well, that's a new one.
Yeah, and when I have an earache or something, I just squirt some of the cream in my ear.
I squirt the JC in my ears once a week just to keep them healthy and young. But I never thought of the Helena, the cream. I never thought about that. That's good to know.
I tell you, I have shared the cream with so many people, and bruises, because I'm on blood thinners, which I don't like, but whatever, I get bruises very easily. And I put that on, and I'll tell you, in 3 days, my bruise is gone, from black to nothing.
That is good to know. That is very good to know. People get bruised all the time, just hit themselves on the counter, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So I really, really like the cream. I'm 75, but you know what? I don't look it.
Well,
and I
have to get that before and after picture sent over to go along with your wonderful success story, Bernadette. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, I'll have to send you one.
Yeah, you can just send them on the phone if you want, and we can pick them.
Okay, I'll do that.
So you said you take blood thinners. You have other health issues. What were they? What are they? Or where?
All right.
They?
I had open heart surgery, double bypass.
Well, how old were you then?
I was about 67.
Oh.
And that year, I was going on a mission trip to Africa and New York. My doctor said, you go to New York and that's it. I went to the hospital. He said, you're not leaving. You're getting open heart surgery.
Oh, wow.
Get it done and over with.
So you had it done. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm here today.
Yeah, you sure are. Full of beans, I tell you. You don't sound like you had a stroke. You speak very, very well, and your brain is working razor sharp. That is great, Bernadette.
Yes. That's another thing. My brain, I don't miss a trick.
That is.
I'm Johnny on the spot.
That is great because there's so many people after 60, they start losing it just a little bit here, a little bit there. Oh, where do I leave my keys and stuff like that? And we've had just literally hundreds of people who have had a total change back to remembering again after they started losing the memory a bit, you know. And you just you sound like a youngster, you know.
Well, I am. I'm only 40. But you know what, Anthony? Bud and I talked together, and I said, I'll tell you what. I can stay on this earth if you keep me healthy. If you don't, beam me up, Scotty.
Beam me up. Well, he's not beaming you up, so I guess he's got another mission for you to do to save a few more lives. What else were you suffering from? How's your blood sugar, blood pressure, all those things? Are okay?
My blood pressure, it's good.
Perfect.
It's good.
So that whole open heart thing they did, it worked and everything is humming along.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel better than I did when I was 40. I felt at 40 I was sluggish and I was feeling just depressed. I am not. I came off of my depression pill.
At 40 you were depressed?
Oh, yeah. I went through a lot of junk.
Oh, boy.
But that's all right. It made me a better person. So why do I have to complain?
That's a great way to look at it. And you're right. But when you're drinking the tonic, you can have an attitude like that. It's the people that are not on the tonic, when they get depressed, they get worse and worse and worse. I talk to depressed people all day long, and it's so sad. And once they start the JC, boy, they have a turnaround like in a week. It's amazing how fast they're getting undepressed.
Absolutely. Because you know why they're depressed? The serotonin in your brain has depleted. And with this product, it boosts it up to where it should be.
Well, it must be doing that and a ton of other things because
Absolutely.
of the magic it has on the old human body. I mean, I've seen it. I've been talking to people just like you, like this, for, I don't know, 50 years. And the stories I've heard and the horror stories and the lives we've saved and the people that have gotten 10, 15, 20 more years out of life than they were supposed to is remarkable. I mean, really, it is a miracle tonic, you know?
Absolutely. And it was back when your father was alive.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it in my heart, in my soul, in my mind. I knew it was from God. His formula, with not a doubt in my mind, was from God.
Well, it was certainly a work of art or a work of a lot of hours and calculating and so on. And to this day, I mean, I got an idea why and how it works. And we've had Dr. Mowry explain how it balances the systems. And we've had all kinds of people talk about it. But why these ingredients put together the way they are have produced these results is still a mystery, you know.
Well, God knows.
Well, that's why he's probably keeping it going.
Exactly. And your father, when I heard him and I saw him, he had a presence about him was unreal. I sensed these things, and it's just, you know, he was a marvelous man.
You know, Bernadette, one time when I was much younger, I went into his little den office that he had at home, and I said, "Hey, Dad." And he didn't look at me. He was sitting in his chair looking straight ahead. And I said, "Hey, Dad." And then I thought maybe he was asleep. And I came a little closer. He didn't move. Nothing flinched, like he was not there. I tell you, he was not there. He was somewhere else traveling in who knows where.
That is right. Because your dad, I cannot explain it to you, but when the very first time I went to a Natal meeting, I said, "Oh my gosh, this man," he put shivers up my spine when he spoke.
Isn't that?
I knew. Yeah. I knew them. I know God is it.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say thousands of people had that same kind of, they said, you know, they felt that kind of feeling or something when he walked into the room, you know.
Absolutely. And I'm here for a reason. God is never too late. He's never too early. He's right on time. And your father was on time then. And you've come into it, and you're on time. With the added, whatever you've added or done, I mean, I can't say enough about it. I tell you, it's just like, man, I mean, okay, let me give you an example. When I broke my hip, I broke it at the front door. I crawled on the deck, down the stairs, and across the yard to the car, got the car started, went to my son's place next door, had supper, and I said, "Well, we better go to the hospital."
Gee, Bernadette. They didn't know that all this happened when you sat down for dinner?
They knew that. I said, I hurt a little bit.
Oh.
And so finally we went to the hospital, and I had the operation. No big deal. And that's my life. I could tell you many, many stories about how God worked in my life, even to this day.
Well, I feel the same way because there must be something like that going on to keep me going. And I remember when I was 80 years old, Paulette and the two girls took me out for dinner. And in the middle of the dinner, I said, "I have a big announcement." And they all dropped their forks and waited with bated breath. "What is it?" And I said, "I made a decision. I'm only going to do this for another 20 years. Then I'm going to retire."
And how old were you?
I was 80.
80? You don't sound like you're 80.
Well, I'm 84 and 3 months now, so I'm starting to count the months.
Man, you're just a youngster.
That's right. I only have less than 16 years to go, so you better get rolling and save all those people so I can talk to them.
You know what? I cannot save anybody. All I can do is share, and they'll make the choice.
Oh, that's right.
They'll see it.
But you'll be the conduit, you know. You're the catalyst. That's what we all are. I can't save them either, but I deliver the story, and the product, and if they want to do something about their health, they can do so, and that's great. You were mentioning about the formula and so on. I guess you never heard the part. My dad actually had started commercializing this in 1943. And,
I had.
Yeah, and, that story is all online, and if you don't have it, I can send it to you. I did about 7 episodes of it. There's a lot more to do. I'll do it one of these days, but the story is amazing. And I'm just carrying on with this formula is what he used to make in the 1940s. And he was getting the same kind of comments from people then. No more diabetes, no more this, no more that.
No.
Everything was disappearing, you know.
You know what? When I talk to you, Auntie, my heart just goes crazy. It's just jumping for joy. I love your dad. Love is a big word. I loved your dad.
Sure.
He was amazing. You know, when he spoke and when he shared, you could feel the love coming out and the truth and the wonderful things his product would do.
Yeah, you're right about that, and has to be continued. So I guess, you know, I'm so happy also my youngest daughter has taken an interest and started working with me, and I always hoped that she would. I never pushed it on her, but one day she just said, if you need a hand, I'll give you a hand. Do you want me to help? And she's now a very big part.
Well, I'll tell you, Anthony, I share and I talk. The biggest gift I can give to you, I will pray. That is the gift I will give to you that's above everything. And prayer works.
Well, it sure does. But we need a big prayer to handle the other 7 billion people that don't know about it yet.
And we will. Because this is the year God is moving like crazy through this earth, chucking and jiving and having a great time.
Well, I can't wait for him to start jitterbugging because we can use it.
It's going to happen.
Bernadette, you're a darling. I'm so happy that you took the time to come to the call. I'm so happy that you found the JC, and even happier that it did all these great things for you.
And continuing.
You've got another 25 years to go in peace with a good body and another miracle.
You know what? I tell you what. Don't ever be surprised if I live to be 100 and more plus. Because I come from longevity, and God and I made a pact.
So if I have to live at least to 110 to be able to be around to see you at 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. I'll change my speedometer.
Good. And you know I still drive.
Isn't that great? Oh, fantastic.
No, I'm not giving up my driving. I live on a farm, and I've got to have a car to drive. If not, I'll get a horse.
Good for you. I love it. Well, I still have my driver's license. I think it's good until I'm 86, and then I have to go for, these days, a little bit stronger medical before they renew it, but that's okay. And I see people at 90 and 95 still driving, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I lived in Texas. I love the Americans. They're so vivacious and outgoing. You can hear them a mile away, and I love them.
Yeah, it's been great living here. It's a great country, and we're going to work to make sure it stays that way.
It is. God's not finished with the U.S. He's not finished with the world.
Oh, good.
No, but that's kind of my story. I like it, and I'm not going to change my mind, and that's the way it is.
Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate it, and we will talk to you real soon.
Okay, dear.
Okay, thanks again.
Okay, God bless. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Anthony.
Wow.
This is Ruthie. Can I say one more thing after listening to this young lady?
Sure.
Yes, I just want everybody to know also that the tonic is so good with your mental clarity and your depression. You know, I was just lost David after 65 years of marriage. He been gone now for 2 years. You met David. And I have not got depressed. I think my kids think I didn't love him because people looking around and saying I'm acting the same way. But I know it's the tonic that keeping me focused, mentally clarity, and no depression. And I'm the same person. And I know it's the tonic that's keeping me balanced.
Well, you're not the same person because you're older and you look better.
I look better every year, every day. Every day. The doctor said I'm in a 60-year-old body. I said, could you push it up to 70? She said, no, Miss Mia. She said, you are good.
Oh, wow, that is good.
Yes,
well, that's right. And a lot of people these days do have problems with depression. And if they only could learn about the JC, they could be out of that in no time. So it's up to all of us and everybody on the call to pay it forward. Folks, this is a health crusade. You heard it from Ruthie. You heard it from Jerry. You heard it from Bernadette. You hear it from me all the time until you're probably tired of listening to it. But I'm not going to stop, and I don't want you to stop. I want you to talk to somebody tonight about the tonic and how it can help them, and tomorrow and the next day. Make it part of your daily habit. Just to bring it up and say, how are you doing, Mary? And Mary says, oh, I feel terrible. Really? And that opens up a little conversation. And we've got all the stories to back it up. You don't have to sell anything. Just let them listen to the stories. This call will be in your mailbox in a few days. This call also has some great stories from all the ladies that were on. Share them with other people because it's easier that way to let somebody listen to a third person rather than you trying to explain it and not sure. And they say, oh, yeah, but you're probably biased. But no, it's not that. It's everybody. So those calls are very important. This one is very important. We will continue to do them. We have been doing them for years and years and years, folks. And so I've committed myself to doing them until somebody wants to replace the TonicMan on the call. That's fine with me. Just step on forward and we will start the training. So, folks, once again, thank you for being on the call. This podcast, as we're calling it now, and it's an episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and so on, are all being edited so that these calls don't have a lot of the stuff that no one will listen to, but only the main stuff, the main testimonial, the main success part of the story that you've heard. And they're all in your email. So when you get your next email newsletter from us, make sure you scroll down and you'll see the links. Click on any one of them, and it's a snippet. It's just the story of the person who says, I had neuropathy, I don't have it anymore. I had high sugar levels in my system, they're much lower, or they're gone, or whatever you heard tonight or you hear any call we make, those stories are now there, and there is tons of them. So all you new folks on the call tonight, go listen to those calls and start sharing them. You can just text them over to a friend who's suffering from any one of those health issues and just say, hey, Mary, listen to this. Maybe you want to give it a try. That's as simple as it gets. Don't pressure them. I mean, my family member, I didn't pressure, but I talked to her about it every year for 30 years. No pressure, but that's me. But people who get these stories just keep sending them, and one day they're going to say, you know what? I'm going to try it. It must work. Maybe it works. Maybe all these people can't be crazy. And so it's easy enough to do, and it's quick today because of the electronics and the techniques and all that. So everybody texts now. Just text it on over and say, hey, I heard about this tonic. As a matter of fact, I'm drinking it myself, and I don't have my problem. Maybe it'll solve yours. All right? So do that, please. Okay, so there we are, another really great call. I'm glad to see tons of people on the call tonight. We will be contacting all of you to say hello and thank you for being on the call. And we, of course, will continue this call once a month now for the moment. And we know that next week is Easter coming up. So for those of you who do celebrate Easter, an early happy Easter, and God is good and going to look after us and the country, and just keep everybody in your prayers, and above all, talk about JC Tonic, and remember, if you take an ounce, you're going to feel the bounce. All righty. Good night, everybody.
Hi.
Jurak Classic Whole Body Tonic is a dietary supplement, not a drug. Therefore, it is useful to affect the structure and/or function of your body in various ways, but it is not intended to and will not cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual testimonials may not be everyone's experience and do not constitute scientific evidence. Jurak Corporation does not make any drug or treatment claims for its product.